Well, in Washington, business and constitutional attorney Seth Brunswick is here. Right, this is slightly technical and complicated, isn't it? But let's try and keep things simple. What is Donald Trump hoping to achieve with this executive order?
Thank you for having me. The president made a very important move from the White House today here in Washington, aiming to really fundamentally change the way American social media is conducted here in the United States. The president is taking aim at a law called the Communications Decency Act, and to keep it very plain and very clear, it is basically a suit of armor that companies in the social media space like Twitter and Facebook have worn for decades, that provides certain powers granted to them by Congress to decide how to manage content on their platforms as basically if you will, a public poster board without being deemed to be the publishers or managers of that content. It provides them from liability, and that's a very important shield. What the president tried to do today by signing an executive order is to try to use the power of his office to blast a hole in that protection in a way that may have a very devastating impact on the way the social media business is conducted in the United States.
And what do you make of the president's action trying to do that in this way?
Well, I think that the president is aiming at an issue that really has frustrated a number of people here in the United States on both sides of the political aisle. These internet companies are much more powerful and bigger than they were from the early 90s when this act from the Congress was promulgated. The problem is that there are issues and defects of both process and substance in terms of what the president has done. On the process, there are some constitutional problems because the president is ordering people within his executive branch to create rules and regulations to arguably open up a gap to change the impact of this federal law. That's not executing the law. That's actually arguably changing it. And that may disturb the balance of powers under the Constitution. And under the substance, if the government comes in and is trying to impact political discourse on these social media channels, that also presents some First Amendment political expression issues as well. So there's going to be a legal uphill battle in terms of what the president tried to do here today in Washington.
Okay, I want to put you on the spot very quickly. Given those challenges that you've just outlined, what do you think the chances are of this actually going through or much changing at all?
Initially, it will go through in terms of his people trying to initiate rules to make this happen. However, I predict it will go to the courts in the United States, perhaps up to the Supreme Court, and based upon constitutional grounds, I suspect it will ultimately fail. Congress can change the law, but not the president in this particular instance.
Thank you so much for being so clear and talking us through that. Really appreciate it, Seth Brunswick. Thank you.